Now we're going to have a look at the macros and also the performance controls. So we locate those within the effects page. So the macros and performance controls allow you to play and to tweak key parameters in a very, very fun and intuitive way. So we can assign the mod wheel, XY pad, and also the macros to parameters on the effects page. We can also rename the controls and change them to be either unipolar or bipolar that we looked at when we covered the modulators. So here are the macro controls that are available in the performance controls. So we have the mod wheel here, the XY pad here, and then we have those macro controls here. So we have 6 of those. We also have the halftime option here and also the volume control. Now the performance controls and macros we have available are located down here. So we have the mod wheel. We then have the ability to assign the XY controllers here. And then we have the 4 macros, the halftime and the volume. Now, first of all, we can rename any of these we want. So if we just click on here, you see we get this little cursor that appears. So we can add in our own name. So I'll put reverb in there. Now the halftime and the volume are going to be hardwired. So halftime, as we looked at earlier on in the video series, is going to temporarily affect the playback speed. So it's going to be 50%. So for each sample, the playback speed is going to be reduced to 50%. And the volume is going to be just working on the output volume. But then any of these other parameters can all be freely assigned. So let's just come into here and let's use the lo-fi as an example. Let's just clear all the modulation routings here. Now what we can do is, let's come up to here. Let's say the crush effect. We could choose to have, say, the x-axis of the XY pad affect the crush effect. And we could have the y-axis affecting the degrade effect. And we could do that in a different direction. So we could go positively for the x-axis, negatively for the y-axis. And then when we played a note and we move the XY axis, you'll see these parameters will now change. And that's the same if we're on the main page, of course, as well. Now, in this way, we could stack up kind of multiple parameters being affected by the X and Y axis. So let's say we wanted to have, let's just reset this. Let's say we had the feedback being controlled by Y. And then we had the time being controlled by X, for example. Now we need something to affect the amount, or we could just bring the amount up so we can hear that work. So pretty interesting. So that way we can use the X and Y pad to control multiple parameters. Now, once again, we can have these as unipolar or bipolar. So if we had it as unipolar, we're only going to be affecting those parameters in one direction. So in this case, we're going to be going negatively from the point at which the time parameter is set. In this case, we're going in one direction positively because that's how we have it assigned here. And we're just going from the position of the feedback upwards because it's on unipolar as in one direction. So this way we can go through and control any of our effects parameters here using these macro and performance controls. So we could say the mod wheel is going to affect the low cut, for example. And let's say we wanted to have the amount control being affected by macro A. Bring up the amounts. Now we've got macro A affecting this parameter as well. And as I said, this is going to link back through to the main page. And of course, remember, we can name these as well. So if we wanted to change the name from reverb to whatever we just assigned it to, we can do that as well. So that's how we can use the mod wheel, XY pad, and also the macro controls to affect parameters on the effects page here to allow you to kind of have hands-on control over your sounds. Okay, so now we've covered the macros and performance controls. In the next video, we're going to have a look at the browsers. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.